We got to the airport in a half hour. As soon as I walked in, I heard someone shout, "Geronimo, stop daydreaming about cheese sandwiches and get over here." It was my cousin Trap. I've known him ever since we were teeny tiny mouselets. When we were growing up, Trap loved to play tricks on me and tease me. And guess what? He still does. "Geronimo, get the cheese out of your ears and listen up," Trap told me. "I need to tell you 3 important things. 3. Thing number 1, because you are always daydreaming, Grandfather wants me to keep an eye on you in Arizona. Thing number 2, Grandfather wants me to make sure that you take good care of a tiny gift for his friend, the Red Bandit. Thing number 3, did you know the hat you're wearing makes you look ridiculous?" Then he turned and pointed to something behind him. "Here's the tiny gift for Grandfather's friend," he said. I couldn't believe my eyes. The tiny gift was an enormous jar of chocolate cheese spread. It was as high as a mouse, as wide as a barrel, and it looked as heavy as a baby elephant. "You call that a tiny gift?" I cried. "Holy cheese, how are we going to lug this all the way to Arizona? What if it breaks?" Trap shrugged. "That's your problem, cousin," he said. "Grandfather told you to bring the enormous jar and asked me to keep an eye on you. So, if the enormous jar breaks, it'll be your fault. You'll have to tell Grandfather, and if that happens, I wouldn't want to be in your fur, I'll tell you that." Then Trap winked at me. "Know what else? I've got a real yen to know what it tastes like." Before I could stop him, he shimmied up the side of the enormous jar, then he popped open the lid. The wonderful smells of chocolate and cheese filled the airport. "Trap, no!" I yelled. "Grandfather will be really cheesed off." Trap ignored me. He gazed down into the jar. "You've got to see this," he called down to me. "It looks super delicious." "Trap, get down," I yelled again. "But it's amazing," Trap said. "All the different chocolatey, cheesy flavors are swirled together. No wonder it's called Chocolate Cheese Delight." "Yeah, sounds great," I said. "Now get down." But Trap wasn't even listening to me. His eyes gleamed. He hungrily licked his lips. "Yum, yum, yum," he said. "I've got to have a taste before I flip my whiskers." Then he stood on the edge of the jar like he was going to dive in. I grabbed Trap by the tail and pulled him down just in time. I could not let Trap ruin the tiny gift for the Red Bandit. If I wasn't watching carefully, he could gobble up all of the tasty chocolate cheese delight. To be safe, I brought a lock for the enormous lid of the enormous jar. As we checked in our luggage, including the enormous jar, we heard an announcement. The flight to Arizona is now boarding at Gate 3, and so the longest trip ever started. We began flying all the way from New Mouse City and across the United States to the city of Phoenix, Arizona. Trap snored the whole way there. It sounded like a train engine in my ear. Me, I stared out the window, worrying about 3 things. Fear number 1, would Arizona be dangerous? Fear number 2, would I be able to keep the enormous jar from breaking before I delivered it to the Red Bandit? Fear number 3, would I even be able to find the Red Bandit? I couldn't stop thinking about the Red Bandit. He sounded like a bad guy in a cowboy movie. How would he and Grandfather become friends? I wished that I knew more about him. All I knew was to start my search in Sedona, Arizona. I read through the guidebook. Sedona sounded like a nice little town. I especially liked the sound of the mild climate the book said it had. Maybe it wouldn't be too hard to find the Red Bandit, I thought. Finally, the plane landed in Phoenix. We rented a truck so we could take the 2-hour drive to Sedona, but of course, Trap forgot to put gas in it, so we had to stop in the middle of nowhere. Trap and I had to hike the rest of the way. Guess who had to carry the enormous jar? When we got to Sedona, I had 3 surprises. Surprise number 1. Sedona wasn't a tiny settlement anymore. It had grown into a lively city of more than 10,000 inhabitants. How would I ever find the Red Bandit? Surprise number 2. In July, Sedona's mild climate felt more like an oven's temperature. Surprise number 3. The enormous jar of chocolate cheese delight strapped to my back was about to boil over. I had to find a way to keep the jar safe, or face Grandfather's wrath. I tried to shade the enormous jar with a huge patio umbrella. Then I tried to cool it down by fanning it, but that didn't work, so I got lots and lots of ice cubes and put them on the lid. It was no use. The spread was starting to melt. Trap began to lick his whiskers in anticipation. "'Cause now we should eat this chocolate. Want me to get some bread to spread it on?" Trap asked. "No." "Crackers?" "No." "Cookies?" "No." "Okay," Trap said, "so we'll just dive in then, right?" "No," I yelled, getting angry now. "No, no, no. I have to give this spread to the Red Bandit, or Grandfather will have my whiskers." Luckily for me, Trap gave in. We headed out to find the silver cactus shop that Grandfather had told me about.